Day starts at Albert Head with the dive team centering around preparing for the day's diving activity. Here we see the basics of seamanship activities for all inspection divers, which involves being a sailor first, tradesman second. Here we have an outdoor class conducting seamanship training for the QL1 Alpha, which involves splicing, whippings, mousing, and generally building their kit, which they'll use during the 4-day Divex here at Albert Head. Albert Head is located on about 3 miles south of the entrance to Esquimalt Harbor. As you can see by this panoramic view of Victoria, sweeping across the head over onto the Colwood Machosen area, back into the entrance to HMC Dockyard, which you can see the Fitzcart light and the entrance to the dockyard area. Ideally located, this area offers year-round diving, and it has a very protected harbor with facilities for the tying up of boats, launching of boats, and access to the streets with power and telephone, ideally suited for the training needs of the inspection diver. Here is taking of the Sealander crew, Dive Team 3, consisting of ship's divers, ship's diving officers, completing their formal on-job training in the area of photography training. They use a full half day of classroom in the morning, and now they are taking their theoretical experience and applying it to the actual taking of underwater photography. This exercise will continue into the second day of the Divex, where they will conduct night dive ops and continue their photography training through the night dive operations for this day. Mobile trailer from the Fleet Diving Unit Pacific. This trailer is a mobile concept containing all the necessary diving equipment to do a remote dive. Most recently, having completed a recovery operation in Cold Lake in the middle of the winter, we have here the compressor for charging air, the Zodiac with the engine. In the back, you can hear the 110 generator, and inside it has all the various other components necessary to sustain a dive operation of approximately a week. These things are totally portable and will hook up to any standard CF truck. A mobile trailer from a little angle with the producing generator keeping the interior dry, where we contain our underwater cameras, our handheld sonars, and the like. Inside here you can see the configuration of the various lockers containing the small bits and pieces, pyrotechnics. You see the transformers, jackstay gear, outboard motor, tanks, manifolds, and various other pieces of apparatus that would be used in a typical drive-away type scenario. Here we see the LMDE, which is a mine disposal equipment, which we will pick up on an operational job later on. The uniqueness of this container is the security of all the equipment on board, the working platform to which to do repairs, and the ability to get out of the environment, and of course the ability to take the very sensitive equipment that we use, such as sonars and cameras, etc., and maintain a very habitable environment for which we can store our equipment for use at any remote site. Facilities that is available to the Albert Head area, normally from early April to late October. You can see the protected bay that is situated here. as we pan around. The apology for the green leaves. It is early April and everything is in full bloom here. The availability of this location and the uniqueness and the protected area that which it's located is ideally suited for the conducting of diving training. Here we have Team 1, an inspection diver team, rehearsing search techniques used in the location of lost objects. There is team leader training, there is individual member training at this point, developing the skills necessary to conduct diving operations remotely. We have taken the liberty of laying an underground on the seabed jack stave, which is a line that runs for approximately 1,000 yards, which we can do endurance swimming and camera photography and handheld sonar training, which allows people to dive in a controlled area, develop their skills in the areas of MCM type diving operations. Here we have the Sealander escorting a handheld sonar team, which is currently ranging in on the marked position of the buoy, which underneath it we have a practice mine used for the training in this area. We can see the two divers on the ramp with their handheld sonar equipment on and learning the controls and the various capabilities of the handheld sonar and correctly identifying the kinds of contacts that would indicate that there would be a large metal object on the seabed. These exercises are currently controlled by, or assisted by the members of the Fleet Diving Unit Regular Force staff, who have volunteered their services for this diving weekend, and allow these inspection divers from inland areas a very much needed chance at developing hands-on training for this kind of operation. On angle of the two students, listening to the contacts and developing a audio characteristics of using the handheld sonar in the location. By this means we can do the instructions on the surface and allowing them to gain experience without being in the diving mode, and from here they will dress and attempt ranging in on the harbor bottom. Here is the equipment on standby and the training apparatus on the jetty in preparation to conducting a surface controlled search pattern. Your typical handheld sonar set, capable of generating a returning echo out to 120 yards in the transmitting or active mode. It is also capable of locating a transmitter of downed aircraft, etc. in the passive mode. This unit is capable of supplying audio sound to 2 divers. So when each team is in the water, there are 2 people listening to the echo versus 1.
Okay, when you get him out, about halfway, search to his right and then search to his left.
Okay.
And yell out those reports. Okay, diver shot. When you're ready, get in the water. One of them, hoist it.
Here we have an inspection diver with a lifeline type search.
Pulls past repeated, sir.
The diver is
Diver going where?
being
Going to
sent
his right.
back and forth in a pattern which would be used for a typical jetty or a float search in a harbor or confined area.
The other diver going on this side too.
No. Okay, I want you to stop him and search him to his right.
This typical diving scenario here will be teaching the diver
Just give him
the signals.
4 bells.
It exercises the tender in the transmitting of the signals and the supervisor in the role of supervising a controlled
Okay,
diver
I
search.
want him up. So stop him. Stand by there, Shaw. I don't want you in the water yet.
Now go ahead, diving control.
Go ahead, this is diving control.
This is Sealander 2, we're proceeding to the southern point of Handheld. Over.
Yeah, Roger, that's absolutely necessary.
Thumbs up. 4 pulls means you come up. All right? No, never mind.
Roger, go ahead.
4 bells is searching. Now you request to go down. What do you send? Never mind.
Diving control out.
2 pulls.
Getting ready for my cameo.
Send them away. Okay, Diver Shaw, let's have a good
Pulls
entry.
past repeated. Diver's going down.
Yeah, when you are. I forget to do my underwear. Check that CO2.
Want to stand back there, put out some both ends so I can.
Thumbs up, Diver, okay? How's your mask?
Mask's okay? Holy smokes, you got a big one on there. You got a sounding. It's a shadfish on there, isn't it?
What's your diver doing?
Looks like she's too light.
Loaded.
Too light?
Pulls past repeated. Diver's going up.
Bring her in. Go over to the Zode and get yourself in the Zode.
What else?
Just too light. I can get it in. Walk over there, hey, Phoenix.
Yeah, okay.
Here we have a little more in-depth look at the Team 1 in their seamanship, addressing their OJT requirements, such as we mentioned handling line and splices, developing their seamanship skills so that the manufacturing of diving aids is done in a manner which is cosmetically good and also safe and functional in its application.
Okay, see this one here? But that won't do anything. All it did was that'll pull back out on itself. So what you have to do is pull a little bit more out. And then try it again and flatten it out this time. Okay?
You're doing nice.
That's right. Eventually you get some of the other stuff and it'll actually start to burn on itself. So you stand there with this little burnt end, then you got to blow it out right at the end and smack it down. And that'll work good.
This tape is using a stick.
So you have the back splice done now?
Little mushroom for you.
No, I just started this one. I'm waiting for the burn-o-matic.
Burns and matic.
That's what it is. Put the
how many have we got completed now? There's one over there. You've got one that's waiting to be burnt. And you each have one that's completed?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's 5. Okay, and then if you finish that one, that'll be 6, and we can leave the rest for Team 1. Which is how many? That'll leave 2 for Team 1. Okay, and then we'll be going down to do the handheld sonar introduction. Once we're done this. Good knife, huh? It's a good knife.
Oh, great.
Wow, pretty Angel.
You want serious diving?
This will be meeting your first part of your requirements for your OJT pack, your handheld sonar. Seaman Oliver is going to give you the introduction to it. Then we're going to go down onto the jetty, get onto a Zodiac, and actually beam in on a mine that's been laid so that you can hear what the contact sounds like. We'll be putting it in the water, ping, 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 come back out. Once everybody's comfortable with this and you're sure of how the equipment works, then we'll be finished. Tonight for our night dive, depending on your level of comfortableness with this equipment, we'll be doing 2-man team runs on the mines for the Divex tonight. Okay? So make sure you know everything that you need to know about this equipment, because tonight when you're using it, it's going to be darker. Do you have any questions about what we have planned for today? I'll just get out of the way then.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. Okay. What we have here is called an PQS 2A handheld underwater sonar. The inflatable piece right here that you see, this white piece, will slide right off. I'm not going to put it on right now. Your compass will come out once you slide this off, and everything fits nice and neatly in your carrying case here. It's run by a 12-volt rechargeable battery, which is accessed through this little port right here, which is an O-ring seal. If that leaks, you can short out the battery and the whole thing will be totally useless. So you have to make sure that this O-ring is not nicked or damaged in any way, and that it's greased properly with the O-ring grease here, which is part of the kit. Your charger, which can be switched from either 115 volt or to a 230 volt, you have to go to Europe, or if you're in a hotel where that's all you have, you can switch it. And you simply plug it into an outlet, and making sure that it is switched to the correct voltage. Take this end, and it plugs straight onto the little bayonet fitting on the inside of the bit. It's best to leave it overnight, and on the back of your charger there's a little LED that will light up when it's plugged in and it is actually charging. That will light up. Leave it overnight, 12-hour period should suffice to charge this battery back up to its desired level. And of course, before you go diving, make sure that this plug is put in. It just simply, like a bayonet mount, it slides in and then turns. There's a little metal tab on the side, and that turns towards the handle and locks in place. That's all there is to it there. On the back, you've got your black rubber mount here for your Y piece, which has waterproof bayonet fitting that has 2 copper rings. You don't have to grease that, it's not what that's for. And that slides not on this side here, which is flush. You see it's smooth. There's a rounded, almost conical shape on this end. It goes on the opposite side. It slides in place all the way. And then you're ready for connecting up your two head sets. What happens if you put them backwards?
Say again?
What happens if you put that in backwards? That lead
I don't believe it'll work correctly because of the
length, the position of your copper rings there.
Yeah.
If you put it in backwards like that,
No connection.
I don't think it makes the, doesn't make, see, I've never actually done it, but it doesn't actually make the connection.
What happens if that comes out of the wire?
That pulls out, it's not going to, no, it's not going to damage the equipment. That's the reason they use this type of fitting like this. You just put it back. It's watertight. Yeah. You could pull it out, pull it back, push it back in if you wanted to. It's not going to harm the equipment anyway. It's not going to break the connection. That's why they use it. You got your two headsets, one for the operator, who's holding the set itself, one for the part. The all dive part. So, and if you open up the set, you may find it with this headset with the white headpiece separate from your actual earphones. All you have to do is take this end here, just pull right out. You find one of the ear pockets has a hole on the bottom. Just feed that in through the hole, pull it all the way through. Tuck your earphone into the pocket. Velcro this side here. The other side goes on like that. And you've got two adjustment straps at the top that are Velcro here. On there, on the back. So that you can put it over your head, no matter what size your head is, so you get it to fit. You've got a plastic ring on one side, strap on the other. Simply goes through and then back on itself. So that anybody of any size shape head should be able to get it. And around your mask, and be able to even put this on over a mask. Plug it in.
Alpha, SB101, and SU101. Now the post dive is probably as important, or probably more important than the pre-dive. If the camera
This
made it
is the
safer
class
down to the
that was
bottom,
previously
we have to make sure that
doing
it
inside
fits there
instruction,
again. By
having completed
doing
their
a good post-dive maintenance,
the pre-dive
on the camera,
checks,
you'll
having
guarantee
taken their
that
cameras
every
out on the
time.
Sealander
Now,
and conducting in-water
at the
photography
very first opportunity after
shoots
a
of
dive,
specific
they
targets.
say to thoroughly
We are
soak,
now into the
then rinse all
post-dive
the
X
camera
demonstration
gear in clean tap water. We've been
to,
soaking for a while.
secure
Some
the
of you
cameras
may have
and
noticed I've covered it with a
prepare them
plastic
for the
bag
night
so
dive
that
tonight.
they get direct sunlight on it. The reason for that I explained earlier this morning, so that you don't get overheating inside. So what we're going to do now is step by step we're going to do our post dive on the camera. I'm going to ask two of you to bring the whole gear out underneath the tap, rinse it everywhere where you might think where salt water might accumulate. If you want to all move over to the left. Good running water takes away salt water. If you just sit in fresh water, then they only solubilize not as much. Run everything in the water. Front, the back, remove the lens. You want salt water left anywhere. All the wire leads.
Excuse me.
Careful not to bang it on the hole here. Viewfinder, electrical contact, every part of it has to be rinsed off properly. Because if you don't, you get salt crystallization. The second it sits and dries, and you're looking for trouble in a later dive. You call that thoroughly rinsed? Okay, set off the tap. Here, let's bring it back to the table, and we're gonna step by step dismantle the camera, clean it, and get it ready for tonight's dive sequence. First thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna take the non-electrical connections off. That means taking the camera off the bracket. You can remove the sensor unit off because it's not electrical. It's just a magnetic contact. I've explained that this morning. So we're going to remove it. You can give me a hand. I want this to be hands-on. I want you to remove the camera. Do not disconnect any electrical connections. Okay? You can remove the bracket from the arm. An important step. No, sir, you gotta unlock
the screw so that you can push it in, push in your bracket, and then turn towards you. Now turn.
Oh, push the screw in.
Yes. Okay. You're going to pat dry all of those items. One piece. Don't rub it across. You pat dry on the lens.
Okay.
You don't want it scratched.
Still salty afterwards.
Can you taste it?
Yeah. Nitroglycerin.
Okay, the main reason why we're patting dry is because if you, in this case, if you rub, you scratch the lens. You may scratch the viewfinder, and that just adds distortion to your pictures, and we don't want that. The rest of the casing, the body, you can move the tabs a bit so that you don't bend anything. But we're trying to get the maximum amount of water off of the casing and the strobe and so on and so forth before we start opening it up. Thank you.
Completely padded.
At least your standard.
Meets and exceeds.
Exceeds mine. I have extremely low padding.
Okay. We're first going to work with the camera itself, and then we'll progress to the strobe afterwards. That's it. That looks pretty good. Oh wait. Ensuring that it's still unlocked. And it wasn't. But it is now. Probably got moved when you were patting it dry.
I locked it again. I guess if I'm unlocked it.
Okay. First piece we're going to remove is a strobe attachment in the bottom. You have to hold the camera perfectly upright so that if there is any water on the O-ring, it'll drip straight down. If you were to hold it like this, it'll touch your contacts and you're running a risk of high voltage here, as you know. So we hold it put perfectly upright, back off on the screw.
Must have been the padding.
Okay. And you remove the connection. Now keeping it upright, look inside and inspect for any indication that there may have been a flood out in that particular connection. So what you're looking for is small water droplets close to the post. Do you see any? No? And the pre-dive check was done correctly on that particular piece. That means the O-ring was good, the lubricant was not excessive. If you put too much silicone, you're running chances of leaking. So we're doing great so far. Now, we're going to rewind our tape, our film, and retrieve it without getting it wet. In the case that the camera had flooded out, the film with the prints that have been exposed on it is still processable. You can still put it to the lab and you'll still get a picture out of it. Right? The camera may be ruined, but the film's still good. Okay? So, in order to rewind it, you bring her all the way back to R. Lift your rewind knob in its rewind position. You rewind until you feel tension and then the release of that tension.
Here's the view of Victoria at 10:25 in the evening, Saturday night dive. We were just rounding up the evening exercise. As you can see, we are blessed with the beautiful weather and a beautiful view of the skyline. Again, panoraming over the dockyard area, looking at Fitzcart Light as it silently blinks away in ever support of the mariners. And sorry?
Chief?
Yeah?
Those pictures, eh?
Yeah, not too bad. And we're panning around down to the area where they are charging up the dive tanks for tomorrow's dive. We'll just take a walk down the jetty and see what we can pick up. see the dive float that is being manned for the night dive operation. We have the Handheld sonar crew returning from a deployment in the art of locating an underwater target, doing a night dive operation using the Handheld sonar.